After class today, I'm really not a big proponent of universalization, and I understand why Mackey put this in his like a book to kind of disprove moral, like objective morality. Because when we were talking about it, like the first stage makes sense, kind of that like if a rule applies to everyone, but like the only reason that it should like not apply to yourself, it's because of yourself, that shouldn't work. And I agree with that because double standards are a real thing, and that's something that I really don't support. But the second one, I like kind of agree with it too, where like you have a moral action, and then someone disagrees with that, or like let's say like an idea of like you have to pay your own like schooling, and so like someone who's rich would go there and he would have no problem with that. But then like let's say you are poor and you have to go to school and you have to pay a lot of money. Now you're like the rich guy and you like put yourself in the shoes of like the poor guy, and that makes sense. Like kind of like why someone wouldn't want to be like someone who would want like people like the government to fund schooling. And then kind of for like the third one, they have like you take the second one, but then you also add in like the person's values that you're trying to understand, and then like why they understand that values. And I like this is like one of the things that I don't like fully agree with, because I don't think it's really possible for someone to like fully understand another person's values, or even know every single value that person has. Like they might know a few of them. Like let's say you're like talking about like a politician, and like depending on their party, you can know some of their like values. Like I know like their foundations, because I know like you said earlier on that when you look at our moral foundations, you can assume like where we fall in like the political spectrum. But at the same time, I feel like there's like always been like, even you said that there was someone who kind of like you had like I think it was like a 50-50 shot on which one they would be. So like it's kind of hard all the time to know, like even though sometimes you would know what someone's values are, it's kind of fully hard to understand that, and like understand like what that would lead them to do. And so I kind of think that's like the first part, like universalization doesn't really work for me. And then also like based on like everything we've learned in like this class so far, I don't really, and like I'm agreeing with Mackie on this, I don't think like objective morality is true. I think that it's more of like a cultural thing than anything else, and universalization just kind of doesn't work for that. It kind of like disproves it in a sense for me, because a lot of the time if you see like a moral that's like universal or objective, but then there's people who have like reasonings why they wouldn't agree with that, then that kind of like, and they don't think that's moral for them, or they don't agree with that. Like let's say for vaccines, for example, I know that's something we talked about in class today. A lot of like let's say that like people want to get vaccinated and they think that's like an objective morality to get vaccinated. Well, there's some people who like let's say the person who wants to get vaccinated has like elderly parents or like elderly grandparents in their life, they want to protect them. But then other people who don't want to get vaccinated because they have like a medical issue, it's against their religion, or they just don't trust like that the vaccine, like we talked about this in class, like the COVID vaccine came out like insanely quick for its time. Like that vaccine usually takes a lot longer, and so people didn't trust it. And all those people have like, to them at least, valid reasons on why they wouldn't trust that vaccine, and so that like to them it's moral or like understandable like why it's and not immoral for them to get the vaccine. That kind of gets rid of the whole idea of objective morality. If there's people who can give a reason and like articulate that reason and then like justify it in a sense that makes their like stance against the vaccine like not immoral and even maybe moral, like depending on like if they're using religion or example, or if like they have a medical issue and they're saying like, oh, I could die if I take this, that's moral to them, that they want to preserve their own life. And so I really think that like the universalization kind of cements or like proves, at least to me, that there is no such thing as objective morality.